Hi, I'm Dr. Jackson Preston. Welcome back to Rising Above. Thank you so much for joining us for this week's video, which will focus on understanding your story. If you haven't already, please make sure that you complete last week's materials, including the baseline survey. You should also, by this point, have a good sense of your current practices from your self-care plan. We're going to be using those this week. So if you haven't already, you can pause for a moment and you can go back to last week's materials, which focused on steps 1 through 3 of developing your self-care plan, available through the University of Buffalo. Each of these worksheets can be downloaded and completed. Thank you so much for taking the time to do that. This is the maintenance self-care plan that you're going to be referring to this week. We only asked you to capture your current practices because we're going to be thinking about new practices moving forward. Before we get started, I'd like to share a quote with you, and if you're in a place where you're comfortable to do so, you may close your eyes. This is Dr. Maya Angelou. She says, "I have great respect for the past. If you don't know where you've come from, you don't know where you're going. I have respect for the past, but I'm a person of the moment. I'm here, and I do my best to be completely centered at the place I'm at. Then go forward to the next place." And the reason I selected this quote is because we are asking you to spend a little bit of time this week understanding how different characteristics of your identity may inform how you think of well-being and how you practice self-care. But we don't want you to be defined by your past. We want you to be in the moment and mindful. What does it mean to be mindful? Well, simply put, it means that we are present in this moment and we are aware. We are aware of our feelings, our thoughts, our surroundings, the environment and people around us. We want you to be mindful throughout your practice with us on this journey. So please keep in mind as you do this activity what the goal is. It is to learn from your past, but not to allow it to dictate your future. So this is the diversity wheel that we'll be using as a tool this week. You can see that there's an inner wheel, and it covers things like race and ethnicity, age, gender identity or expression, gender, sexual orientation, national origin, and mental or physical ability. These are many of the characteristics that follow us throughout our lifetime, and for many of us, they shape the core aspects of our identity, either in terms of how we see ourselves or how others see us. Now, if you look at the outer circle, this may represent a lot of the choices that you make throughout your lifetime, and these may be aspects of your lived experience, and they also shape how you are able to pursue your well-being, how you practice self-care, and the extent to which you do it. So we are going to be asking you some questions this week to help you understand what shapes your current practices. In order to make this real for you, I would like to share my journey with you. I will be providing a link to my 2019 TED Talk entitled The Missing Ingredient in Self-Care. During this talk, I actually go through how my initial reluctance to self-care was to a large extent shaped by different aspects of culture and society, as well as my own upbringing and identity. And I hope this will give you insight into how I had to embrace those very characteristics in order to create my own path to well-being. I hope you enjoy it. It takes roughly 10 minutes, and I am making this week's video a little shorter to give you some time to pursue that as well. So if you're ready, please go ahead and open up the workbook for this week's activities. I'm so excited to be with you on this self-care journey, and I'm excited for what you will learn and discover about yourself. You will see that we are going to ask you about some of the barriers that you faced in the past when it comes to addressing your self-care, and we're going to ask you about an area that you might like to work on moving forward. In the TED Talk, I do lay out each of these categories with examples, so I hope that would be helpful for you as well. Thank you so much for being here, and have a wonderful day.